Help wanted. 1 million bright, college-educated professionals for sometimes dangerous position. Expect long hours, abuse, and disrespect. Experience with gangs and drug addiction preferred. Starting salary, about $18,000 a year. You might wonder what kind of crazy person would want to become a teacher today. But the truth is, there is no more important job on the face of the earth. Now, we're always complaining about what's wrong with our kids, what's wrong with our schools, and more, what's wrong with our teachers. We entrust them with our children's future, but at the same time wonder, are there any great teachers left? The truth is, there are. If you remember school as dull and boring, you'll be amazed to see what an exciting adventure learning can be. We're about to celebrate some of the truly imaginative teachers who are inspiring children every day. Although these are just a few of America's more than 2 million school teachers, they represent thousands of their heroic colleagues.
I'm teaching in the neighborhood that I am because it's more challenging. Drugs run rampant in that neighborhood. It's very gangland. A lot of the kids feel that they have to belong to a gang in order to even survive in that type of neighborhood. With kids who are very, very young, taking care of brothers and sisters. Half of the kids that are in my population dress themselves, get themselves up, get themselves out to school. My classroom and knowing that I'm going to be there every day is the only stable thing in their life they can count on. The only stable thing.
Good morning, Vietnam! Hi.
Karen Cahill never ignores the daily terrors in her students' lives. She uses them to reach and teach these kids who everyone else has failed. In the month before Karen began at Sarah Greenwood Elementary School, 5 different teachers flunked out of room 210.
The kids would eat them up and spit them out. I remember when I got to that school, they said, "Oh, you're in 210." And kind of smirked. I thought, oh my gosh, what am I getting into? I had kids who were in the 3rd and 4th grade and couldn't tell me the alphabet. They had no perception of what they were able to do.
There you go.
And once you've been beaten down that much, an adult or a child, you believe it.
What must we do?
And so before I could even begin to work on A, B's, and C's, I had to build up their self-esteem and get them happy about themselves. And once you have that built into them, they soar. They just take off.
Come on, look alive. You bought a pair of Adidas sneakers. They were $60.
In that, the way I try to get them motivated is money. If you buy 2 pair of Adidas sneakers, how much is it going to cost you? If you gave the man $100, how much change should you get back? And they go subtraction. And this is things that they want to know. They don't care about Dick had 25 apples in his cart and Jane had 35 in her cart. Who cares about Dick and Jane? They want those Adidas.
Drop it! Come on, girl. Yeah! Okay, we're up first.
Spelling kickball, we take our spelling words for the week, and same rules as kickball, but the only catch is I'm throwing the ball to you, I throw out a spelling word, and you have to spell it correctly. If you don't, that's an automatic out.
I know how to spell it. N-O. Ah! You're out of here! K-N-O-W!
I get to know each kid as an individual, and I find out what's bothering them, why they had problems before, why they can't learn.
D-O-N''T. Yeah! All right, move it!
I feel you can't even begin to teach something new until the old issues are resolved.
Sometimes in our lives, people have addictions to things like alcohol, like cigarettes, gangs, and they think they're not hurting anybody but themselves.
In language arts and English, it's more like a therapy session.
Does anybody want to talk to me or tell me a story about somebody's actions that hurt them? Andre?
Well, my brother was in a gang and he got shot, beat up, and all that.
Do you think he realized how much he hurt you? Will he ever realize? He didn't need to do it. When they do these things, they don't realize. They really don't. It's not that they're doing it against you. It's all right. Tony's at least turning his life around now and has a chance. And with him where he is now, you have a chance to get your life back together too. So when we get in our seats and think of somebody in our life we'd like to write to, and just get it all out.
I take things that are bothering them and have them write about it.
Okay, let's go. Come on.
These kids are so consumed with other things on their mind and tragedies going on in their life. How are you going to get them to learn English? It doesn't make a difference. They don't care where a period belongs. Their uncle died. That's what's pressing them right now. Who cares about periods and commas and question marks? And I agree. How can you even begin to teach that when these other things are just so consuming? So I have to take the concepts that are supposed to be taught and break them down into my kids' levels and ideas my kids can go with. It's like taking medicine and putting it on ice cream or putting a little syrup on it, and then it goes down and it doesn't taste so bad. That's what I do. I offer incentives because these kids need something to strive for. A lot of them don't have the families that can spend the money taking them bowling or the time. You know, everybody should climb mountains and go roller skating, and a lot of them just don't have the access to those things that are part of being a little kid. They're so grown up so little. The first time I went in to ask Mr. Howard if I could take my kids on a field trip, I said, Mr. Howard, would it be okay if I took my kids to so-and-so? He said, what? You want to take them out of the building? I said, yeah. On public transportation? I said, yeah. He said, you sure you know what you're doing? I said, yeah. He said, Karen, I'm going to trust you. I said, great. Trust me. At this point, I hope in the near future they stay away from those gangs and drugs. I hope I've given them enough sense of self to be secure enough to walk away and not become a part of it. In 10 years, 20 years down the line, I want them out. I want them in the suburbs. I want them to be able to have the things that they should have, that they're capable of having. There's no reason they can't get anywhere in this world. No reason at all.
Karen Cahill works hard, long hours as a teacher. But in order to support herself, she lives with her parents and holds down 3 jobs.
She said she's still going for marriage. That was good, sir. Yeah, that was pretty quick, huh?
Karen is just one of our nation's overworked, underappreciated, and underpaid teachers. But her consuming dedication to her students prevents her from finding a better-paying job.
Here you go, honey.
Every week I come home here, and after I do my bills and get what I have left, I say I'm going to call this company, I'm going to call that company. And then I think to myself, who's going to take my kids?
My compliments, Colonel Markman. Your troops look excellent. All right, the scene is you're 125 years back in time.
Living history is a reality approach to the study of social studies. It's putting students in an environment where they can experience the time period, the feelings of the historical situation you put them in. Hands-on, you are there.
Whatever happens tonight, do your best. You got it? Keep control of your troops if you're alive. Keep control of them.
In the beginning, the first year, I had some frustrations because I was confined, as I've often said, a 2x4 kind of teacher, the 2 covers of a textbook and the 4 walls of the classroom. And I was trying to convey how the American Revolution was fought. And what I did was I got a dozen kids in a parking lot with 2x4 muskets and the Pirates of Penzance uniforms and did it. But every year, my students and I learned together. And it just continued to grow and become more sophisticated and more historically accurate and more real.
After preparing for months by studying every aspect of the Civil War, the kids get to time travel and spend 24 hours in the 19th century.
Now they know about a march. They know what it's like to be out there slogging and keep going, guys, because you know what? There's no cab's going to take you anywhere. And when you want your meal, well, you make this huge stew and you eat it. You don't nuke it in the microwave.
This is not Rambo does the Civil War. This is the way it happened historically, and we're going to do it right.
If you are pretty good at creative financing, it doesn't take a lot of money. It takes some money. My students pay 25 cents a week dues. Out of that dues, he will be as equipped as best we can.
I want to hear those commands.
I think you could do it out in the plains of Nebraska. You can do it in the hills of California, because throughout America, we all study American history. It's just a matter of where you weave the magic. You have to overcome student apathy. And it takes some work, but it can be overcome, because they just don't want to sit there and be lumps. They really don't. We might just have to look at students a little differently and try and create some things that are fun for us as well. Maybe in many ways, we are all suffering from a bit of apathy. Every now and then, you see the light go on behind the students' eyes. In the battle, when the smoke cleared, I walked in among the dead and wounded rebels, and I said, all right, let's come alive. One of my girl captains stood up and looked at me, and she had this kind of glazed look in her eye, and she said, Mr. Ryan, where the hell did they come from? And I knew that she had been there and had got that insight, that one moment. And that's what I hope, that every one of my students, sometime in that 24 hours, they got a little peek back through the curtains of time. Living history does have an effect on their attitudes towards social studies. Where it shows up is the way they think and feel about history, and realize there is a human side to history, not just printed words on a page. How do you grade a student in living history? Well, usually I have some kind of writing activity, and they're supposed to make me believe from their writing.
My dearest mother, I write you because I'm scared, Mom. Frightened because I feel the end is near, for I, as well as all the other young men defending the United States, I've met up with many men who have different opinions of the war. Some feel that dying to keep our country united as one would be an honor to them and their families. But Mom, I miss working on the farm, helping you and Pa. Please don't tell Pa about how scared I am. I don't want him to think he's got a mama's boy for a son. Give Pa my love, and thanks for understanding me more than any other person in this cool world. Love always, James.
I think if you look into the eyes of those students as they marched out of that camp, you wouldn't see a lot of glory there. You'd see a lot of tired students. They've spent 24 hours somewhere an awful lot of students never go, even in their wildest imagination.